we're going to get into the Tuesday Tailgate with our friend Carter Freeman. He is the knower of all college football. Carter, there's one thing I haven't gotten to today that I've been wanting to dive in on, and I wanted your thoughts on this specifically, because I know you're not just a college football guy. You like a lot of fringe sports too, but you like the big sports as well. So you're just a big sports fanatic.
Arm wrestling being one of them.
That is true.
You see these tree trunks?
I see.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was talking about Bill Belichick and coaching at UNC, and he said, listen, they're going to get all the right technique. They're going to be prepared for the next level. I know that they're going to be prepared team because that's what Bill is. But then he added this part. He said, I think the challenge for him is he's dealing with probably a lot of underdeveloped players because he's dealt with guys that had 4, 5, 6 years of experience before they got to him. And now he's like, it's got to be even different, 17, 18, 22 to 23 years old. How is this? Do you think that's a message that Bill Belichick can say, no, all these things they're universal in football and they can travel? Or is there a big gap for these guys from high school to college to learn?
I think there is a big gap because not only are you dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds who may not have been playing football for that long, but you're dealing with 100 of them. And you need to rotate those guys in and out. It's not like you're going to have basically the same 11, 12, 13 defensive players on the field that you would have for an entire NFL season, right? Like there's so much more rotation. Your depth is so much more important. So yeah, if they're in like the third quarter against NC State and he puts in his third string defensive lineman, he makes a mistake, NC State goes on a big run, like those are things he's going to have to learn. The games are more similar than they've ever been, but they're still different. Yeah. They're still wildly different in many ways, which is why I think there's going to be a big learning curve for him this season. There was for Dion in his first year at Colorado, and it took him time to figure that out. I don't think it's going to be any different with Belichick.
One thing, Fred, I don't know if you remember this from the Patriots era, that I think that he'll carry over from that Patriots group. They would pick on you. If they knew you had a weak spot, they'd go at it over and over and over, and then they'd say, oh, you made the adjustment? Julian Edelman's on the other side. I know we've been going at Gronk this whole game, and now we're going to go do this. And that's what it seems like with college football. You can find those holes a lot faster, easier, because you just don't have the talent. And I think that's going to be something that he's going to continue to do, is we're going to find where their weakness is, we're going to expose it, and then whenever they cover that up, we've already prepared for weakness number 2.
Well, and real quick, you mentioned, though, that, and look, rightfully so, yes, you're going to have kids that are going to be underdeveloped to an extent. But I would think from a coaching perspective, like Belichick might be salivating over that fact that you haven't learned enough bad habits yet.
Oh, yeah.
And so I will be able to mold you into the type of player that I want you to be.
He doesn't have to coach that out of them.
Exactly.
But I still think, to the point of you're dealing with kids. And they're going to have bad habits no matter what. Yeah. So you guys, I think, understand that more than me.
You just wonder if. I was going to say I just spent a week with my 17-year-old. But at the same time, you just wonder. All right, you know what you're getting, because look, this guy's going to wear a Super Bowl ring. Probably a different one for the first 6 weeks practice.
He's got plenty.
He's got 8 to choose from, right? So those kids will be. By the way, how do we feel about this Jake Cruel kid?
I mean, I'm excited. It's nice. OU recruiting actually had a win this summer.
Right.
Seemed like pretty much they got beat by every other school they were competing with. They lost their wide receiver to Florida yesterday, so it's nice for OU to pick up a good player today. But I mean, look, he's an IMG Academy edge rusher. Those guys usually end up being pretty good in college.
I was gonna say.
So
this kid's not coming from some podunk school and, podunk you.
I thought you were going to tell me that Bill Belichick's number one message should be shut off your Venmo transactions. Because have you seen this John Mateer at OU controversy from last night?
He's denying it and saying that's not him.
So the story is John Mateer's Oklahoma quarterback transferred in from Washington State. Yeah. His Venmo transactions popped up on Twitter last night, and it says from 2022 when he was I believe a when he redshirted at Wazoo, sports gambling, USC versus UCLA, sports gambling. Those are 2 transactions. Doesn't say how much, but he's denied it. He came out with a statement maybe 20 minutes ago that said, those are inside jokes. I've never gambled on sports, anything like that. So now, in my eyes, this is very much we're close to the season. We need some preseason storyline.
Boy, it sure feels like it, right?
And because there were so many other fake, like there were ones for Arch Manning that popped up. There were ones for Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt that popped up. All these fake Venmo transactions. So Is it real? Who knows? It's going to be really hard to prove, and it's going to take a long time. So I don't think it's going to affect Mateer's availability this year. But that's just been a big storyline over the last 24 hours that, he just came out with a statement against.
Wow. That is interesting.
I mean, this isn't Iowa State, for crying out loud.
So long as you don't have the DraftKings account, I think he's fine.
I think he'll be okay. I mean,
nothing incriminating like
because
that.
Because to his point, it could be just an inside joke. I mean, come on. Do we really think this kid's that dumb to put sports gambling?
That's what I thought.
That's my deal.
But look, kids always use emojis.
Well,
always use emojis. I have one from my friend that I from years ago that's like, grandma chicken crab. I have no idea what that was for. To this, like at the time I didn't know. Today I didn't know.
Yeah.
So just make it nonsense.
I texted the wife the other day. She said something. I texted her back 3 eggplants, and my kids were in the car.
Always use the eggplant.
And so my kids are in the car, and she has it connected to her car.
Her
and
CarPlay
it reads out loud. She was like, "Oh yeah, read it out loud."
Eggplant.
Yeah, exactly. And my oldest and my middle one were like, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, "What? That means that's how we talk about transactions on fantasy football. We just use eggplants instead of dollar signs." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
And
Thank
then
you, Mike McCarthy.
she said she was going through the car wash, so I sent the the thing, and the kids were like, "What are you doing?"
Maybe
right now, Dad?"
maybe you and the wifey shouldn't have text message. I mean, I'm for. I love to see that you guys' relationship is still spicy. But let's not hurt the kids.
I just like to pull bits around the kids, just so that they're like, I don't, just keep them off guard just a little bit, and maybe we should use WhatsApp. All right, Carter.
Clearly.
The college football AP rankings came out yesterday, and for the first time in program history, Texas was number 1 on the preseason poll.
It's true. By a very slim margin. This was the slimmest margin between 1 and 2 since, I believe, 1998. The first year of the BCS, if you can believe it was that long ago, it was this close because Penn State was this close to being number 1.
With that top 5 that we have, is that how you would rank this top 5 with number 1 Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia in that order?
I'm a bit surprised that Clemson is that high. I think Clemson's very good, but I would just think that given what Notre Dame's bringing back from a national championship runner-up last year, that they would be top 5. But I'm fine with the teams that ended up there. It's crazy that the defending national champion can be number 3. Not you think if they might be number 2 coming back, but given how much they lost, Texas is the same way where they've lost a lot from their offense from last year as well. But they bring back so much on the defensive side. I am fine with it, but I've been a big Penn State believer for pretty much the whole offseason, so I would have had them number 1 and Texas number 2, but you're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the top 25 or out of the top 25 that you think it's a criminal charge that they're not in?
I said this last week when the coaches poll came out. I don't understand why Miami isn't in the top 10. I think they're going to finish the season unranked. There's usually one team from the top 10 preseason that ends the season unranked. Last year was Michigan, who was number 10. Seems pretty easy to me. It's going to be Miami. I would move LSU up personally. They're number 9. I think they're closer to the top 5. That's just me. And I think Baylor's going to win the Big 12, and they're not even ranked. So you've got a couple Big 12 teams that are ranked. You've got Arizona State at 11, and you've got Texas Tech at 23, and K-State at 17, and Iowa State at 22. But I think Baylor's better than all those teams. They bring back, I believe, 13, 14 starters from last year in addition to whatever they brought in the transfer portal. Leading passer, leading rusher, leading receivers, leading tackler. Like, they're bringing back so much on a team that was so good to end the season last year, and they're not even in the top 25. I think that's ridiculous.
What's our boy Baylor's head coach name?
Aranda.
Dave
Aranda?
Yeah.
Maybe it was his bizarre, rambling.
That was weird.
And you know what's funny?
Speech that he gave.
Didn't know about that. I somehow missed that during Big 12 Media Days.
Everybody missed that.
Do you think he was trying to go viral?
Maybe so. Maybe that's just who he is. I don't know him personally.
I think when he started it and realized I've already committed to this,
I'm already here.
I got to go ahead and just finish it.
Ball rolling down a slope.
It was a weird
momentum that he carried.
We just kept telling the story like it was normal.
But there's several Big 12 teams that are right outside, like the receiving votes. It's Kansas, it's Baylor, it's I believe Utah's down there as well. So like the top 28, you'd have a lot more Big 12 teams than here. They're all right there underneath. So maybe national media is not buying into Baylor or some of those other teams as much as I do. But I think by the end of the season, you'll see those teams are good teams. And you'll get a really early sign if Baylor's actually as good as I think they're going to be. They play Auburn at home in week 1. They play SMU in week 2. And they play Arizona State at home in week 4.
Oh, wow.
So they've got a really strong start to the season schedule-wise.
Yeah.
But I think they're for real. So if they can make it through 2-1 out of those and lose the out-of-conference game, then they'll be cooking.
I saw this from CBS Sports, and I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this. The Texas football scene is like there's a lot of good programs around here. This was they picked the best college football team in each state going into this season. Texas was the best in the Lone Star State, but they also pointed out there's a lot of good teams trying to chase them down, but Texas keeps pulling away 25-5 over the past 2 seasons, a pair of college football playoff semifinal appearances, and a very good outlook on 25. Is there a program, because we've seen SMU pop a little bit, at times TCU pops a little bit. I love TCU. And so all these, and UNT, go Mean Green, baby. Which out of all the schools in Texas, is it A&M that would be the one that would be chasing, that would be closest or could take down Texas and being the best program?
You want to say so because they're the next ranked team from Texas. Actually, no, I'm a liar. SMU's ranked higher than A&M is. Oh. So according to the AP, SMU's closest to Texas. SMU's very good. I'm buying in on them again in the ACC this year.
Okay.
A&M, you saw them shut down to a degree the Texas offense in College Station last year, but then they don't score a point on offense. So it's really hard for me to say, they're going to be this upcoming season, they're going to do that again or do better than that in Austin, because that's where their matchup will be this year. I mean, I just wax poetic about Baylor. I'm really high on them. I think the wild card is Tech, because Tech does bring back a lot of starters from this last year's team, and obviously we've talked a ton about what they brought in the transfer portal. The pieces are there. I just need to see it on the field, which we'll see, fairly early. I think their Big 12 schedule is relatively manageable, so we'll get to see that. But I think if it's me, I pick Baylor. I could understand why you'd say SMU or A&M, then Tech is the wild card.
Okay, all right. That's Carter Freeman right there, and it's interesting that he says wax poetic on National Vinyl Day. Good, I see what you did there, Carter. Always trying to get Turntable Thursday mixed in the conversation.
Taylor Swift is teasing like her 12th album 3 years ago, so I got to do a little bit in my time.
Great stuff, Carter. Really appreciate your time. Yeah, well, that is, you got a good. Man, look at you guys.
See what we did there?
Trying to throw all these. Coming up next,
made me do.
It's time.
Could be here for hours, Corey.
Yeah, I know a lot of the songs too. So, are you ready for it?